This is What School Didn't Teach Me, a podcast meant to build community on all the things school doesn't prepare you for. Hi, I'm your host, Jasmine Kiamber, and class is in session. Welcome to the classroom. It's your host, Jasmine Kiamber, and I am so grateful. The word for this week is grateful. I know we used it a couple weeks ago, but we got to bring it back for today's lesson, for today's theme. I'm grateful to the classmates for being here. Welcome to another episode. But I know y'all see I'm not by myself, okay? So I'm grateful to y'all for being here, but I'm also grateful for my beautiful, talented guest, Leila Walton, in the building, okay? Now, let me tell you just a little bit, very little about Leila, okay? She's a poet. That's how we met. When I met Leila, I was swooned by her beautiful words and the way that she used her whole heart in her pen. Okay, now she teaches gymnastics with young girls, and she was the co-director of a film with a film company called Soul Film. Leila, tell us the name of your project so that people can go watch it.
Let the time pass. Let the time pass. But if you're talking about the one that I was acting in, stunting in, the Aura 3, shout out Prom, the director.
Oh, I need to go watch that one because that's a whole series, isn't it?
That was a good series. It is a full series.
Yes.
It is thing for sure.
So you're an actress.
But
and
I am
director.
biased, but episode 3 was the best. All right.
Are you in all the episodes leading up to 3, or are you just in 3?
No, I'm just in 3. I think I'm in I'm in the last bit or a little bit of a bit in episode 2.
So 3.
My character.
So 3 is the best. We're with
one.
you. 3 is the best. Okay. So you're an actress and a director and a poet.
And a director and a little bit of everything. Yeah.
You're a little bit of everything. And I'm so grateful to you for making time to be here with us in the classroom today.
Thank you for having me, for real.
Yeah. Today, if y'all can't tell by the title, which y'all should be able to, we are talking about gratitude. And Leila, I have to say, watching you and your own spiritual journey from the extent that you allow us to peek in, I have seen how like gratitude has really fueled your spiritual journey. And so when I was drafting the episodes on how we can invest in ourselves, how we can invest in our mental health, because that's the focus for this month, there was literally nobody else that came to mind other than you to talk about how important it is to really look at the silver lining of things. And I know for me, we didn't already talked about it, but I know for me today, that's definitely a conversation that I need to be having.
So, I'm right there with you. We done said it already, but today has been a day, so I know it's gonna be good talking about gratitude. I need this.
Yeah. Y'all, if the devil is not after you, you is not doing something right. Okay. If the devil is not after you, you're not doing something right. Well, let's hop right into it. You already know I done lost my questions on my notebook. That's usually my guide. So I feel like this is really about to be a candid conversation. So I want to just start by asking you, like, when you think of gratitude, what comes to your mind? Yeah.
When I think of gratitude, I think I just think of God, for real. Gratitude is something that I'm still learning. It is a work indeed.
Yes.
I don't think I innately just had that gratitude in my heart. I've really had to work and learn and be obedient, and really take account for my blessings. I think so. Just taking accountability for being grateful has been a big responsibility, but it's changed my heart in a lot of ways. I just think of God when I think of gratitude. I think of just peace and just being okay with what things are and how He lays things out for real.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like for me, when I think gratitude, I almost think about like the silver lining. Like, you see those posts or those little signs where it's like, if you ate today, be grateful. If you had a bed to wake up in, be grateful. Like, okay, life might be really, really hard, or something might be really, really difficult. However, there's still a silver lining. There's still something in your life that makes you smile, and therefore you should
Right.
focus on that and not the negative.
I love how you said however, because in my head it bounces off as furthermore. Yes, we could be in a pit. Yes, we could be, feel me, feeling down, whatever the case may be. But God gonna shut the lion's mouth every time. Every
Mm-hmm.
time. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that it's just easy to be grateful for that, knowing that
Yep.
He has that final say so.
Yep. Yep. I love look, I love how you said that God is everything, or that when you think of gratitude you think of God, because um in my day-to-day job we teach mental health to kids, and one of the first we being me and my mom, one of the first lessons we teach them is about like what we call ants, automatic negative thoughts, and how like when you like experience anxiety or when you experience sometimes even change, like you have these automatic negative thoughts like this ain't going right, this is different, I'm frustrated, I'm overwhelmed. um and then to combat those, we tell them like to combat those negative thoughts you got to speak life into things. Well, you got to look to God to see the life in those things. Like as humans we innately think negatively, and I know for at least for me it's not until I really started looking for God in the small things where I really started to experience, like you said, gratitude and peace. So the fact that you said
Hmm.
that, yeah, was a
The
good
fact that you
reminder.
said look for God, like that's everything. Because
Yeah.
I don't think gratitude is something that's easy to find. I think it's easy to be angry. It's easy to be
Yes,
frustrated with this
it
life.
is.
Sorry if I end up cussing. Yo, I'm working on my mouth. Help me, Jesus. Now, it's easy though to be frustrated with shit because it does pile up and it does begin to feel heavy on the spirit.
Yeah.
But I love that you said just looking for God because you have to look for that gratitude. You got to look for those spaces where, hey, that was okay. Life is still good. You have to look
Yeah.
for them in the darkness. That's what the light is, right? It
Right.
can only be light in the dark. So
Yeah.
I love that you said that. That was
Yeah.
just everything.
This is already a good conversation. See? See,
See, we just don't talk.
I
Right.
missed this.
Yeah. Say that. Look, we were literally right around the way, so it's just a trip.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're right. You're right. You're right. You do intentionally have to look for God in the silver lining because, like, oh, the truth of the matter is the devil wants you to be mad. The devil wants you to be angry. He wants you to be frustrated because the sooner he can keep you there, like, the more he can keep you in this dark, frustrated space, the more he can keep you with like bad habits and around negative people. And like, the more he can keep you away from your purpose for real. And I mean, you hate to get so deep so fast, but it's true. Like the more the devil can keep you down, the more he can keep you away from his purpose. I mean, from your purpose. And that's not of God. Like we're not supposed to let the devil win.
And misery loves company. We gotta understand that the devil only got kicked out because he wasn't obedient. You feel me?
Hello.
You know, when misery loves misery, you have to allow yourself to be big enough, light enough, look hard enough
Yep.
to not be miserable or in misery.
Yep.
Because it is easy. He's there. The devil is there already.
Yep.
He's frustrated. Yeah, I would hate to not be with God. I would hate to. Feel me? Imagine. God be like,
Imagine.
I never knew you. That would throw me off too. But
Right.
never in a million years should we be okay with, well, it's just a feeling. No, God is still there though. Right?
Yep.
You gotta really, really, really dig deep.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
about digging.
But you know what? People only have the mind to think when they realize that God is there. Because some people think that they go through stuff by themselves and that there is no God for them to lean on. And that, like, I know for me, it's a scripture I really like. I can't remember. I want to say it's in Deuteronomy, but I could be lying. But it literally says, God is not man that he should lie. He is not man that he should change his mind. And that scripture really hits home for me because for a long time, when I would think of God, I would think of him like every other man in this world who I did not trust, who I would not want to be near me if I was in a state of misery, right? I would want to handle that by myself. So I think a lot of times people look at God and they think, well, God's not going to be there for me. And he definitely doesn't want to be there for me when I'm in this bad mood. So they don't even think that they can lean on or look for God because they don't think God is there for them in the misery. I don't know if that makes sense.
That does make sense. I'm gonna share just a little bit. I feel comfortable enough to share a little bit about my life. I have an older brother that's 40. He ain't worked in 2 years. Like, don't talk to nobody. Like, really down in the pit. You feel me? And he hasn't tapped in with God in a long time. You can tell it. But I think that we have to remember in the misery, God knows misery. He knows sadness. He knows all of these things before we even knew it. I was thinking about this the other day. Our brain is still learning things as it goes, but our body is gonna function regardless. That's the same thing with God.
That's good.
Even without the knowing, even without the feeling, even without the full understanding and full grasp of it, you have to know that things are working anyway, and things are working for your good, right? And that's it's not I don't think it takes being convinced. I think if you want to feel light, you want to feel him, you want to know that he's there with you, you're gonna open yourself up and you're gonna allow that. Because in desperation, in the pit, it get like that. It gets sticky. It get where you gotta reach out and really reach for him. But he's gonna be right there. He's already there, right? He's already there. And in some cases, and it's a little bit twisted to think about it this way, maybe he created the pit so that you could call on him.
Really get it together. No, you're real.
Hello? Maybe. You get what I'm saying? Because he is an almighty God. He knows how to get to you. He knows how to get to his children. And no matter how you identify yourself, if you identify yourself as his child, when you are by yourself in that deep pit where nobody understands, who you calling?
Speak, Leila. Speak, Leila. Speak, Leila. No, because we're quick to call on him when times are hard. Quick to call on him when times are hard. Quick to be crying to him like, Lord, if you just get me out this one time. But it's like, don't forget about him when you are going through minor inconveniences. When you are going through little stuff that's making you angry and frustrated. Like, you're right. Sometimes he does put a whole bunch of stuff in your way just so you can come back to him. Like, I'm not. Look for me. Like, I'm right here where you left me. I need you to come on back. Because you done gone way too far. You done gone way too far, and I just need you to make your way back to me now. Yeah. You're speaking.
Yeah. And he's not a forceful father.
No, he's not.
You're going to have to.
Yeah.
He's not going to force you. You can sit in your pit. You can sit in your pity all you want.
Yep.
You're going to find him.
Yeah. But you know what? I be telling people, no matter what role you play, God's will be done. Like, no matter what role you play in this world. And I say the example I use, or the analogy I use, and it's a little grim, but it's true. It's like, a lot of times when we stray from God, a lot of the things people do is they link to drugs. I know for me, it was easy to just escape from reality and get high. But then sometimes the weed stop working. You go to something deeper. Now, a lot of times drugs lead to poverty. Now you're homeless on the street. And somebody is going to look at you and be like, that is exactly why we need to take drugs off the street. You either going to be the change or you going to invoke the change. You're either going to accept God's hand and be like, okay, God, I need to change my life. I'm done with drugs. I'm done with this. I don't want to be homeless. Or you're going to accept the devil's hand, and somebody else is going to look at you and be like, you know what, Lord, obviously my purpose is to get people off the street. Like, either way, no matter what role you play, whether you decide to embrace God's love and God's grace and his mercy or not, God's will be done. So some people don't want to see the silver lining. Some people don't want to see the light in the darkness, because it's like you said, it's easy to stay in darkness. I be telling people it's easy to be depressed. That depression feels like a big old warm weighted blanket. You have to take it off of you and go and see the light and feel the cold air and learn that there's warmth outside. It's easy to stay in the dumps. Get up and walk. Yeah.
Like, simple. And I love that you said something about just now, something about how drugs can lead to poverty, but it's just that build up, right? That one small thing that, oh, this is going to help me right now, that temporary fix, it builds up to a long-term problem.
Yes.
Right? We get so far away from the solution that we forget that there is a solution indeed.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? We know the solution in our hearts. And I love that you touched on drugs. I'm still struggling with my vice, which is smoking. And I know that I can either be a servant to God or I can be a slave to the devil. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm sitting in my pit because I've been allowing myself to be a slave to this vice, this coping mechanism, this darkness, this pit. You get what I'm saying? Rather than allowing myself to be a servant to God, getting up happy, getting up and listening to that first call that he gave me. Because I don't know about everybody else, but I wake up and I have a first thought. And it's usually a positive one. But if I don't catch it and run with it, it becomes this spiral of, oh my goodness, what do I need to do today? This got to get done, this got to... You get what I'm saying? It becomes chaos when I don't just answer that first call.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how you called it a first call, though. Because lately, I've been waking up anxious. Like, weirdly. But it's like, I know what I need to do to fix it, right? Like, I do my morning devotional, whatever, right? Well, not whatever. I do my morning devotional, right? Like, I got, like, 4 or 5 different books that I hit on in the morning, and then I feel better afterwards. But when I don't do that, I feel some type of way. And I be running around anxious, trying to figure out why. And it's because I didn't get my daily dose. Like, I watched this video and it was a woman saying, like, give God the first of your day. Because when you give him the first of your day, the rest of your day as well. If you don't give him the first of your day, you let the world take it. And I have let the world take a whole lot of first. And I'm like, I don't even want to waste time no more.
Yeah. Because he is in the details. He is in our daily routine.
Yeah.
He is in our daily bread, you know. I think, you know, when we stray away from that routine that he's given us, because it is a routine that you got to build, you know, with him. You got to find what works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But once it works, I think sticking to it, what you said earlier, like he's not going to change his mind. He's not one of those kind of guys. Yeah. He's very stern, very firm, very affirmed in what he's talking about, what he wants for you. And I think we make the mistake straying away from our routines. And then we look back and we're like, what's going on? Whole time, I ain't prayed today. Whole time, I was in my Bible today. Yeah. And I do that every day. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that far away from him. I'm choosing not to stick with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. We definitely get caught up in this thought. That we can do this thing without him. Like, very quickly. And then we are very quickly humbled. Like, no, you can't. When you start to do it without him, you start falling into your same old. And I want to stop real quick and just thank you for being vulnerable and opening up in this space, because I know for me, it took me a while to stop smoking. It took a while. I mean, it took a couple bad trips, but it took a while for me to be like, okay, like, this not serving me. I need to stop. And even though I want to do it every single day, I really got to fight extra hard to invite God into my life in this very moment, because as much as I want to smirk this right now, let me pray instead or do something. So thank you for even being able to share that.
Oh, for sure. Thank you for having a space that feels free enough for me to do so. I appreciate it. I'm not as honest with my vices as I feel like I want to be, but being honest with what I'm struggling with has helped me find the gratitude and just knowing that he's there for me when I'm ready.
Of course. Of course. He's literally always there. He's always there. Like, oh, that just gave me chills a little bit. Because I was literally just reading. Dang, what is it? It's like Hebrews 13 something. But it's literally the verse that says he will never leave me nor forsake me. So, like, why should I be afraid? What can mere mortals do to me? It's like, oh, no matter what we face in this life, and no matter how far we stray from God, he's always right where we left him. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's true indeed. I'm thinking now that he is a God that just holds your hand. And I think that's something to be grateful for. That's something that I'm grateful for, because he does not leave me nor forsake me, no matter how thrown off I get. I ain't lying. I didn't been in spaces where I done said I hate God. I really don't. Feel me? I don't believe in. You get what I'm saying? And yet, when I was ready to come back home, He had a space for me.
Yeah.
He like, there you go, your room's still there.
Like the prodigal son. You know that what is it called? What is it called? It's not a psalm, but a parable. You know that parable of the prodigal son?
I don't know it.
Okay, in the Bible, I can't tell you where it is, but I want to say it's in Matthew. Look it up. Look it up. But it's about a man. It's a man, and he's rich. He's a father. He's rich. He has 2 sons. He has servants. All the things. His eldest son goes, "Hey, this life is great, but I want to go outside and travel." Like, of course, at a certain age, both of the sons are going to receive their inheritance. He's like, "Give me my inheritance right now. I'm not playing with you. I don't want to be here. I want to go out. I want to travel." He says, "Okay, son." He gives him his inheritance. The son is gone for, I want to say, like 5 years. The money dries up. He does travel, but he's living out in the world. The money dries up. So he ends up like almost as somebody's slave. Like, he's eating what the pigs eat. He's doing all these things, but he done ran away from home. So he finds his way back home. Whole time his younger brother is still there, working for his inheritance, working for his dad, being a good son. The prodigal son comes back. The older son comes back, and the dad puts on a whole feast for him. Like, "Prepare a feast. My son is home." And it's like, it's a song by Madison Ryan Ward that talks about the same parable. But it's like, no matter how far we stray, God is still right there, ready for us to come home. Like, ready to prepare a feast for us to come home. So it really don't matter what you do. Like, of course it matters, but it's like, it really don't matter what you do. There is absolutely nothing that can separate you from God's love, for real.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah. He is a God of again, for surely.
Yeah.
He is the God of again. That he is one of one, but he is not a one-time God.
Not at all.
For sure.
Not at all.
That's a different kind of love.
If you don't mind sharing, what was your process to coming back? Because I remember when we first met, I do remember you were kind of on the fence about, like, who God was to you.
What was the question? What was the original question?
If you're comfortable sharing, like, what made you come back, or like what was that like for you to just decide, okay, like, I want to follow you. I want to follow Jesus.
To make a long story short, I had came out of an emotionally, mentally draining relationship. And that next year, I was doing my best to stay on my feet, but I was depressed and I was suicidal. And by the grace, I'm talking about a woman that I didn't have any liking for, and we still clashed heads, saved me. And said, "Do you need anything? Do you need me to get somebody for you?" Like, I was on a brink, literally. And she stepped in, and I knew after I got out of the rehabilitation center and all of the things and had to go through all those steps, I knew that was God, because he sent himself through somebody I wouldn't even.
Yeah,
girl, I hate to say it like this, but I wouldn't kiss on if she was on for you. You know what I'm saying? One of those. Like, we just did not get along.
Yeah.
But God was like, it does not matter. I don't care how you feel. I'm going to be there for you. And that, at the end of it all, and in the rehabilitation center, I met people that were, I know, sent from him. We had nothing in common, came from different backgrounds, like completely out of this world people. And we connected. And I knew that was him carrying me through that space. After that, like literally 2-3 days after, third week of January, third week of the month, went to church. During that time, COVID was still, you feel me, cracking. So like churches were shut down. So I called the church, and I hadn't been in church in years, other than the
Chapel.
chapel at Diller. Yeah. But outside of that, like I hadn't been to church, so I called the church. And I was just like, y'all gonna be there like today? And they said yeah. They picked up. They said yeah. And during the service, I just felt God pulling me like to the front, literally pulling me. I'm like, Jesus, Jesus, I can't do it. I can't go. And then everything, basically, like in my head, everything flashed like, this was me, this was me, this was me. Like God was like, this was me, this was me, this was me, this was me. The whole time I was going through that space, I was like, oh yeah, I do want to live for you. Yeah. Oh yeah, I am yours. Thank you, Father. And that's when I decided to give my life to Christ for real. But when I grew up in the church, I just strayed away. I had a lot going on in my head.
Yeah.
And just my granny passing was heavy for me. That was hard, still hard, but that took me away from God. That took me away from believing that He had any good intention. So it's nice to come back even through the trial and tribulation. It's nice to be home. I ain't gonna lie. It's different in this kingdom.
Yeah.
It's different.
First of all, Leila, that's a beautiful testimony. That's a beautiful testimony. And it's a testament to, like, God will send the most random messenger. Like, it comes from the people you least expect, where He's like, nope, reach out your hand, come with me. That's beautiful, Leila.
He has been ushering my life.
Yeah. And I think there's a different type of, and I think when you walk away from the church and then you come back on your own, I feel like that builds a stronger faith because you've already tried certain things. You've already tried to find your peace elsewhere. And now like, nothing can really stray you for real. Like, when you walk away from the faith and come back, it's like you've made your own decision. It's not, of course, yes, you grew up in the church. You built a foundation there, but it's like you had to make your own decision, And I really, really do feel like that makes all the more difference. I really do.
I definitely feel stronger in relationship with Him, knowing that, He shepherded me to Him, knowing that, in the way that I think of it, He wanted me to be with Him. So I do hold that relationship very, 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 very close. And y'all know I'm open book, so y'all know I give it to God. All glory be to Him, first and foremost, and only. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm grateful you're still here. I always have to say that. I'm so grateful you're still here because you have a very, very special place in my heart. I may not reach out all the time, but you have a very, very special place in my heart, which I need to do better about reaching out. That's on me.
It's just good to be here with you. So it's always time. Can I ask you kind of what has happened in your life that has brought you closer to Him, or what's your pull?
Yeah, I feel like I also grew up in the church, literally been in the church my whole life. But I really, really didn't like, of course I felt like I had a place in church, but like I told you earlier, I always thought of God with man. Like I did not know. I knew the John 3:16, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, but I did not know the deep, intimate scripture that told me that God loved me specifically, and therefore, yes, I have a place in church. I dance, I sing, I do really good speeches, all those things. I was very active in church. I still had so much, like I struggled so badly growing up with like anxiety and depression to the point where I could not imagine that a God so big would care about me. Like, would God care about Oprah? Of course. Would God care about whoever won the Nobel Peace Prize? Of course. Does God care about all the deacons and deaconess that serve Him in church? Of course. But why would He care about this little 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old that is really just struggling, who doesn't even know, if she cares about herself for real? And so I struggled my whole life with that, with knowing if I really, really had a place in God's kingdom and what my purpose was. Like, I knew I was good at a whole lot of things, but it's like, what does that matter if I don't really care about myself? You know, like what does that matter if I can't find love, joy, happiness in myself? And so I feel like I struggle with that like literally my entire life. Like up until it literally wasn't until I got to Diller. And I'll tell people like when I got to Diller, everybody knows I changed my name. And I changed my name. I was literally just talking to my cousin about this because I had so much guilt and shame attached to all the things that I was doing to find myself and all the things that I was doing wrong. Like I'm out here and I'm smoking weed. I'm out here and everybody got to come around on their own. But it's like I'm out here and I'm skipping class. I'm out here and I'm smoking weed. I'm out here and I'm having sex, and that's still not giving me no joy and no peace because I'm still getting in trouble for it. It's still making me feel anxiety. It's not making any of these bad feelings go away. And so now I feel shame for it. So I go to Dillard. I change my name. I decide, okay, what I need to do is find out who I am for me, right? I need to figure out who I am for me. And I come up with new boundaries, all the things. And chapel was cool, but chapel wasn't like church. So it was like I went, but I wasn't really in tune. I really had to find God for myself. Like once my situation was similar to you, it was like I was in this really bad relationship and I knew everything we were doing was wrong. Like I knew I really wasn't even supposed to be with that person. But I also knew that I was getting older and that nothing I was doing, if I wanted to change my life, I got to do different stuff. And nothing that I'm doing is giving me peace. Nothing that I'm doing is really like lasting. It just makes me feel weird after. It just makes me feel bad after. So I start looking into like, okay, what church can I listen to? What podcast can I listen to? What can I do? Because I know that all the elders are telling me to stay close to Jesus, but I know I don't have my own relationship with him. But I know sometimes I pray and things happen. So maybe I just need to give this Jesus thing a try. Like I done gave everything else a try. Maybe I need to take my relationship with God serious. So I literally will be like in my camper dorm room, like, and at this point, like I don't say I was depressed because I don't feel like I was depressed in that time, but I was holed up in that room day and night. So I'm in the room, door locked. I'm watching the sermons while I'm smoking. I'm waking up, leaving to go to Kearney, get food. I'm like, you know what? If all I could do is watch one sermon over and over and over, I'm going to watch the sermon. So I'm watching the same sermon 3 times in one day, just trying to, okay, like what am I getting from it? Am I going to get a new thing every time? I'm like, I'm doing whatever I can to feel peace. And it worked. Like, to make a long story short, it started working. Like I got to a point where I was like playing like it, like on YouTube, they'll like read scriptures. So I got to a point where the scriptures are playing while I leave a room so that when I come back, the room is still filled with the Holy Spirit. Like I credit my relationship with God is deeply entwined with my relationship with my mental health. Because when I had really bad mental health, I had to learn that God was there. And it was God that pulled me out of a very deep and negative mental space. And now that I'm in a space where I'm like I know that I'm letting God lead me, like I'm choosing to like not be anxious about certain things. I'm choosing to not let things that like used to worry me. I've had to make the conscious decision to be like, I'm just going to choose God in this moment. Because if I choose myself, I'm about to knock everything over. Yeah, so college is what did it.
For sure, college will do it. That good HBCU will do it.
It'll do it, but you know, it's because everything is there. Like everything is there. Everything is at your disposal. So it's like you can either.
That time too. That time was detrimental too.
Yeah, we were struggling with. We were struggling with COVID. We were struggling. Yeah.
Literally trying to find anything to do. But I love what you said earlier. How it just took you taking God a little bit more serious because it is relationship, right? Like any relationship, if you want somebody to take you serious, you got to take them serious. But he's one of those guys where even if you aren't taking him serious, he's taking you serious. Like you said, you didn't know, like you just this 12-year-old girl in church, like didn't know like if he was even pointing at you, looking at you. He didn't even know your name. But he does
Right.
take you serious. He does take us serious. Like, we are his children, you know. He just wants us to finally see him in our reflection. And I love that he directed you to yourself, your self-care. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, God just wants us to take care of ourselves, right?
Yes.
He just wants us to take care, for real.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. And I think, like, you're right. And I think that's because, like, I'm a firm believer that God turns your pains into your passions, right? Like, nothing, a lot of people use the term, like, nothing is wasted. With God, nothing is wasted. No matter what you end up going through, nothing is wasted. And so I feel like the experiences that I had, both with him and with my mental health, is what pushes me so hard to create spaces like the podcast, to like do the work that I do outside in the field, where it's like, okay, no, I know what it's like to be real low, real low, you know? But I came on the other side, and so can you. And I really, really feel like I've tried to do other things career wise, and God is like, no, this is what I'm calling you to do. Like, this is what I'm calling you to do. To the point
Yeah.
where I'm like, you know what, Jesus, I accept. I'm going to stop fighting you. I'm going to do what you're telling me to do. But then it also reminds me, when I see people go through certain things, when I see people struggling with certain things, it's like in my head, it's always like, God has such a big purpose for you. Like, when you come on the other side of this is what you're going to be talking to people about. Like, you are going to be talking to, I mean, talking is not everybody's gift, but it's like you are going to minister to people through this thing. Like, whatever gave you such a hard time in the world is really what ends up being your ministry. That's what I
Yeah.
believe.
For sure. That's for sure. And I love that because it shows how big your gratitude is and how big your gratefulness is. Because
Yeah.
he he is a waiting God. He's gonna wait and wait and wait until we feel pulled enough
Yes.
to just reach out for him. I'm sitting right now.
Yeah.
You know, so I needed to hear that, and I appreciate you saying that. Because there's always another side. Green pastures, he got us. He is our shepherd. So
Yes, he
I just gotta,
is.
I think I just gotta allow myself to be guided right now in this space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's really what it is. What you said, I'm not gonna fight him no more. I need to come into agreement with him. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
once we can come into agreement, we're gonna be on one accord. We can build alignment. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. I have a friend
the
who literally
decision.
will say, "Oh, I'm sorry, keep going."
No, I was just saying it's a decision.
It's literally a choice, like a conscious choice. I got a friend that'll say, like, surrender. And me in my head is like, surrender, like, give up. Like, that don't rub me right. But it's true. Like, you like, you really, really do have to, like, okay, I thought I was doing one thing, but God, you have a completely different plan for me, and my ways are not your ways, and your thoughts are not my thoughts. So I am just going to lift my hands up, and I'm gonna say, whatever you want me to do. I'm just gonna have peace with the fact that I know that you're in it. Because I think for me, that's what, like, I can confidently say I'm not in the most comfortable position in my life yet, right? But I think what keeps me from being negative about it, like we were circling back, like what makes me so grateful for this season is that I know that even though I'm not in the most comfortable season that I'm in, I know that God is literally with me right here. And there was a point not too long ago where I was in an uncomfortable season, and I was literally fighting God. So it's like, do you want to fight God, or do you want to have peace and just wait? You know, like, when you just go with God's journey, when you go with God's plan, even though it's not what you expected and it's not comfortable, you have a peace that literally, like the Bible says, surpasses all understanding. Like, I literally can't describe why I'm not bursting out in tears every day, but it's because I know God is on the other side of things. Like, my job
Yeah,
is just to sit. Yeah.
yeah, that's it. That circles back to what we were talking about earlier, of just either being a servant to him or being a slave to the devil. Like, those
Yes.
are your two options. And I think I like what you said about, like, just surrendering. We can either surrender or sacrifice. And if you read your Bible, God wasn't a big fan of sacrifices anyway. He don't like all that.
Yeah.
So if you feel like, you know, you are too big to surrender, you're going to have to sacrifice yourself. Sacrifice
Yep.
your routine, your self-care, you feel me, your good-heartedness, the stuff that you feel good about.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, surrendering is the easiest. It's the easiest way to go
Yes,
about it,
it
for
is.
sure.
Yeah.
Like, ugh,
Yeah.
so easy to sit at his feet, man, and let him work.
But you know what? It's the easiest way, but that does not mean that it is easy. Because it's not. Like, literally, like you said, it's a choice. It's a conscious choice to be like, okay, well, I'm not going to worry because God got this. It's a choice until it becomes routine. Because eventually you do get to a certain point where it's like, me having a doubting thought is not in my mind anymore because I've trained my brain to
Right.
now, like we were saying, to think positive thoughts, to express gratitude in certain moments, to know that God is with you and he'll never leave you. So he's right here in this moment. So you don't have to think negative thoughts. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is the easiest way, but it's not an easy thing. And I be telling people like, because I love the story of Jonah and the whale. I be telling people, if you, just like you said, you either have to surrender or you have to sacrifice. Yes, like the more you run from God, the more likely you are to get swallowed up by a fish. That's just how I feel. He gonna take away what means the most to you. Okay, he's gonna
Yeah.
put you in a position where you ain't got no choice but to, okay, like I'm gonna take what you say, God, and I'm gonna run with it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. That's something I'm grateful for about him. His mercy, his everlasting, his unconditional is really unconditional. Like,
Yeah.
you can run, but you can't hide. You know what I'm saying? And I love what you said about if you stray away too far, you'll get eaten by a fish.
Yeah.
It's like thinking, man, it looked like steady ground, but you'll sink. Take another step away from him. You sink, you
Yeah.
sink, you sink. You know.
Yeah.
So he is such an uplifting father. Like, he is such an uplifting choice. He's a good decision. So I think when like you said, when we decide to choose him, it hit different. Our muscle memory changes. Our brain memory changes. It's like building a good habit. I know a lot of people talk about bad habits, and it's so hard to break a bad habit. It's not impossible, though, right? And once you get
Right.
that good habit, it's like slight work. Never have to think about it. It's just there. It's now
Yeah.
innate. It's now a part of you, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the space that we have to be patient enough, and I don't even want to say obedient, but I want to say steadfast, like looking forward, seeing it, having that
Yeah.
blind faith. Anyway, I
Yeah.
think that's why it's important to have that patience for him.
I love that you mentioned being steadfast because I don't know. I feel like we keep saying the same thing, but it's true. Like it is constantly a choice.
Mhm.
Like choosing God, choosing patience, choosing to be happy and to practice gratitude. All of those are choices. But then in the
Yeah.
end, it's like our job is to exercise our faith. The more that you
Mhm.
exercise your faith, the more unmovable you becomes. So when it's time for God to really do something in your life, it's like, oh no, this is light work. It's nothing we haven't done before because that waiting season he just put me in, oh, I just came out 10 times stronger because I had to wait for so long, you know?
Yeah.
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 And the sooner you decide to choose him, the sooner you decide to surrender, as my friend would say, almost like you expedite that process. Like the sooner you can really receive your blessing
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
you've been praying for. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it is in our hand, really. It's in his hand. So I think in that, just knowing that you gotta decide to get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's there, it's written already. It's promised. He's one of those type of fathers, one of those type of guys where it's already
Yep.
promised for us. And I want to be better at remembering that he has already chosen me. I don't have to do all the work because he's doing his part. I just gotta do mine. So,
Yeah.
and compared to his job, my job is little.
Yeah. I never think about that. I never think about how much work it is to create something literally from beginning to end. And when you say it like that, it does make it seem like, and all you got to do is sit and wait. That does make me seem a little antsy. Oh, thank you for saying that.
For sure. I think we all got it honestly, for sure.
Yeah.
My grandpa Mouse always say like slow, like I just need to slow down. I'm one of three on my mom's side, so he'd always tell me like you're moving too fast. Just slow down. Like God is in the stillness. He's in the waiting. He's in the feel me.
Yeah.
He's in the things that you can catch and see and remember, not the rush. Cause where we going? Where you trying to go? Unless you're trying to rush to him, understandable. But outside of that, where you trying to go?
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what, Layla, that's so good. That is so good, because I know for me, I've always been like that. Like my mom used to say, she used to ask me all the time, like, are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of yourself? Because I used to live my life like that. Like it was one accomplishment after the next after the next. So then when I wasn't accomplishing anything, or when I was accomplishing smaller things, I couldn't be grateful for it. Or it was one to-do list after the next. My whole life was on fast forward and based on performance. But it's like God is not a performance-based God. And he wants you to slow down. But in this world, we're so used to hustling to where when you slow down, it seems like you're unproductive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's easy to fall behind. It's easy to feel like you fell behind. But
Yeah.
he's always 10 steps ahead. So there is no, in reality, there is no falling behind.
Yep.
Who you racing? Where you going? Like, back to that. Where you going? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
It's one of those things. And I like what you said, because my mom, she'll always tell me, like, you don't even see yourself. You don't even see yourself. Like, and that's because I'm used to ripping and running. I'm used to doing this, then doing the next thing, then doing the next thing, then doing it. And right now, I'm in a season of waiting. I'm in a season of rebuilding for real, from scratch. And I'm used to being good at things. You know what I'm saying? He's put me in a
Yes.
space where I'm having to slow down and learn. And if I try to do it at my pace, which is too fast for anybody, right? That's what builds that anxiety, that rush, that makes my head pound. His pace is much better and much more accustomed to me, which is interesting
Yeah.
and something that I've learned as I go. But right now, that's what I'm learning from him, is his pace is the pace for me. Like, as soon as I put my hands too far in things and I be trying to do it myself, it becomes chaos. Like you said earlier, I think you said that. Yeah, you did. You mentioned that earlier. It just becomes this big old chaotic thing. And then because I already have my hands in it, I feel like I gotta fix it, right?
Yes. All
But
by
God,
yourself. Yeah.
right? But God is our He's our mechanic, our man of the house. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gotta worry about all that. And I think
That's
none of
good.
us really do. We make problems a lot bigger. And I wanted to talk to you about composing and composure of energy. I think I
Yes.
texted you about. So I like what you said. God is not a performing God, a performance-based God. But a lot of us are performers in our life, right? We are
Yeah.
used to doing something, accomplishing it, moving on to the next thing, working on that, accomplishing it. So a lot of it is performance-based. But I thought about energy and how we consume and also give out energy. And lately I've been feeling drained, so I've been trying to figure out how to map out, and actualize and decompartmentalize. Is that the word?
Decompartmentalizing. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. My energy. And I think when you see yourself as a composer, the people who direct the instruments, the folks who are doing the
Mm-hmm.
instruments. When you see yourself as a composer of your energy, then you can choose where your energy is going, and it doesn't feel like this thing is happening, this thing is happening. No, I directed my energy here, so this is the result of that. Now I can direct myself here and direct
Yeah.
myself here, and it at least creates a space where God can also move and have a space of, okay, if I'm on this side, He can work on this side. He can
Yeah.
work on this. He can maybe even work with me on this side. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And when I was going into just feeling Can I bring out my notebook? Because I be writing.
Get
Usually I
your
be writing.
please get your notebook, please.
Got to pull it out. Give me 2 seconds to find the page. I was just going in about this with composing energy. I mean, composure of energy. Um, Rather than feeling like we have to compress the emotions that we feel, because they are big emotions, right? They are big feelings. We feel a lot throughout this life, throughout our day to
Yeah.
day. I mean, sometimes it is hard to like just look up for a second and say, "Hold on, God, grab me real quick. Hold on to me, cover me real fast," right?
Yeah.
But when you find that composure of that energy, you can at least bring your energy into one space and set it down somewhere. Be still with it, right? Let it do what it needs to do, develop however it needs to develop, so
Yeah.
you can move on from it and keep
Yes.
walking with God um, in authority. And I think a lot of times I'm overcompensating for my big emotions and my big feelings, and so I can feel like, well, I got to make my feelings small, and that's hard for me to do. I'm a
Mm,
I'm a
mm,
woman. I'm a feeling woman, so that's
yeah.
very hard for me do to make myself small in that way.
Yeah.
But when I'm able to say, well, I can give this energy, but I can compose it here for right now, and it's
Yeah.
okay right here. Carrying it almost like a baby, nurturing it almost like a baby. I can at least feel like I can have these big emotions and still walk away from them, and they're gonna still be there. They're gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, God is taking care of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's something that I think that we can touch on a little bit. Just composing your energy and being the composer of your
Yeah.
energy, rather than allowing vices to pull you in,
Yeah.
allowing distractions to pull you away.
Yeah.
Just mapping it out. And what you said about yourself in college, and how you were kind of just everywhere doing a whole lot of nothing, right? Sometimes we find ourselves
Yeah.
doing a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
You can find yourself in that composure. You can
Yeah.
find yourself in that composing, because you have a little bit of control in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's something that a lot of people fear, just losing control, right? When in reality, we don't have control anyway. But if you need
Layla.
to act
Yep.
that way,
You
look,
you're speaking to the people. You are speaking to
I
the
don't
people,
know.
Layla.
I might be saying too much.
No, no, no. You better keep talking. You better keep talking. No, you're speaking. Keep
Look,
talking.
yeah, but I think that's just reality. We don't have control over this thing. We like to
Yeah.
think that we do. And if you are somebody like me who still needs to feel like, well, I got to have a little bit of control over here, Jesus. I
Yeah.
got to have a little bit of control over here. Like, okay, well, control your energy. Control where
Yeah.
you give your energy, where you spend time, where
Yeah.
you are building yourself up and building your routine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that can help build that good muscle memory, that good brain chemistry, that good feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That was so good. That was so good. And let me tell you why. Because hold on, let me fix my headset. Because I feel like for me, that's why it took so long for me to trust God. Like I said before, one thing that helps me or reassures me is knowing that God is not a man that he should lie, nor is he a man that changes his mind. Oh, you said so many good things. I'm trying to figure out where to start. Okay.
Take your time.
I'm a person that always needs to handle things by myself. I am the control box. I am I'm a everybody do what I say so kind of girl. Not because I want to be, but because I for whatever reason I seem to have the best ideas. For whatever reason I seem to have the most thought out plan, whatever it is. And really I know that comes from my anxiety when I was little. My anxiety made me calculate and strategize and all these things and account for every shortcoming my entire life. So by the time I'm growing up, I'm very good at controlling things. I'm very good at, like you said, being the conductor, not just over myself, but of the people around me too. If we got a group project and I don't want to be the only one doing something, I done already assess everybody around me. I done already assessed your strengths. So you can go You can go draft the plan. You can go build the box. You can do this. You can do that. You can sit down because you're not good for nothing. Like, I've already assessed everybody else's role in whatever I'm doing, especially in my life. So when it came down to trusting God for real and trusting Him with my life, it turned into not just me saying, like, yes, I can say, God, I trust you with my words, but it also turned into me giving up my like my conductor's wand. It turned into me not trying to control anything and everything around me. It turned into me having to stop doing the mental calculations on what if this goes wrong and what am I going to do if I have to come up with an exit strategy and what if this and what if that. Like, when I truly decided I was going to trust God, it wasn't just me saying, okay, well, I prayed and it came true, so I'm going to pray again and it's going to come true again. It was, no, I'm going to pray and it's not going to come true yet. And I'm going to pray again about the same thing and I'm going to hope that it comes true, but it won't till 3 or 4 months from now. But I'm going to be still and I'm not going to complain and I'm not going to cry and I'm not going to worry and I'm not going to put it in my own hands because I have given up control and I have given it to God. And when you said like a maestro, like a conductor or a composer, how they are putting their energy and their mind to so many different things. And like you said, doing a whole lot of nothing. Well, yeah, you can do that. You can, let me work on my career and hope God focuses on my love life. Or I can take God with me everywhere I go. I can put my energy in my career and me and God can work on my career together. And then when I feel like, okay, God, we are satisfied here. Okay, well, now let me work on my love life and let's work on it together. Let me not just, okay, I'm a pick this person, God, and I'm a hope that you bless him. No, it's God, I'm going to think about you as I'm picking this person. I'm going to think about what you want from me. I'm going to consider you in everything that I do because we're now working together instead of I'm doing things my way and I'm hoping that your goals align with my will. No, God's will be done. It's not God is doing what we say. It's we have to work with God. Like wherever he says we have to put our energy, that's where our focus is. Yeah. That was good, Leila. That was good.
And see, you making me think even more because you just touched on instruction. And let me just say how the composer is not learning just from themselves. Yeah. They're learning from the folks who they're instructing, but they're also learning from an instructor, God as the instructor. Imagine God as the instructor, you as the composer, right? Yeah. You have to think about your instruction. Yeah. What was the instruction that you were given?
Yes,
right?
Leila.
In order to properly direct, because yes, he can put you in a position to lead. Yeah. He can put you in a position to be used as the conductor that you already are because that's the skill base, the gifts that he's giving you to read the room, read people, and get them going. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. But knowing that your instruction first comes from him and only him. Yeah. That's where I think that's where the true peace is. That's where the true balance is.
Yep. I was just about to say that's where the peace comes in because like you said, we could be doing a whole lot of things and be doing a whole lot of nothing. But when you know God's hand is on it, it's like, okay, even if I don't see the fruits of my labor just yet, speaking of, I don't know I don't know how you are about your gospel. Some people don't like contemporary gospel. It's this song called Fruits of My Labor by this artist named Caleb Gordon. You should listen to it and to him. He's great. But we could
please just send it to me as a reminder.
I will. I'm now big on like all of my secular replacements, and I love Caleb Gordon. But we can be doing a whole bunch of little things and not see the fruits of our labor. But we see those things much faster. One, when we take our time and focus on one thing at a time. But when you know your instruction is from God. Like, you know you're going to get something out of this. Even if you don't see something right away, you know you're going to get something out of it because God's hand is on it.
Yeah, true indeed. But I'm glad he brought it back to my heart because things be going right it'd be slipping past me sometimes. But he brought it back to my attention literally this week, so I knew, okay, gotta bring this up, and it slipped my mind. And then as we was talking, I'm like, oh yeah,
I'm glad
he's
you
one
did.
of those guys.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. When something is mentioned, he touched on, he will not let it slip.
Mhm.
That was good. That was good. What made you think of that?
I just be thinking, girl. I'm gonna be honest. I just be thinking, like, and a lot of times, like I said earlier, I'm in a season where I feel drained. I feel spiritually like just drained. I feel like there's nothing happening in my life, and I'm not doing things correctly.
Yeah.
So I've been having to help me with this word again.
Decompartmentalize.
Decompartmentalize. Yeah.
Decompartmentalize. Yep.
Decompartmentalize. So I've
Mm-hmm.
been having to do decompartmentalizing. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness, that's a hard word for me. But that's the space that I've been in. When I'm in that space, I'm gonna be honest, even when I'm not in that space, my brain get to going, he dropped gems in my heart and I have to write them down. Anything that I write down I know is important and it came from him. And he had me write that down more than once before it was an actual thought. So yeah.
It's beautiful to know the way God speaks to you.
It's a blessing that he speaks to me. Father, I just pray every day that he continues to use me, because the things that he does give me, I never will forget. Those things help me every single day. Every single day.
He will. He will. I'm like, even the way that you've been sharing, like on your social media platforms, even when you had like the messaging system that you were doing where you would send out the scriptures, even that was like, oh wow, these are right on time. Like, he's using you. He really, really, really is.
That's a blessing to hear, because I get in my own way sometimes and I be like, you're
Yeah.
probably doing too much. You know, you feel me? But
Yeah.
he keeps reminding me that we sometimes can be folks only Bible. We can sometimes be his only vessel. So
Yep.
we might as well be used, child. I ain't
Yeah.
being used for nothing else. I don't need to be used for nothing else. So I'd rather be used for his kingdom. That's my decision. That's my choice.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm gonna keep just dwelling in that. He's a beautiful God, so ain't nothing to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really love the way he speaks to just all of us, and I love that he allows me to at least be a vessel for other people. It's just nice.
Yeah. I'm like, our job is to fulfill the Great Commission. And you're right. Sometimes Canberra speak. Sometimes we are people's only representation of like God's love and his grace and his forgiveness. So we literally like, don't ever feel like you're doing too much, because if like, I believe, sorry, I'm all over the place. I believe we got to be as loud about God as we were about the world.
Yeah.
And when you think about how, I know for me, how loud I was about the world.
That just hit me like a ton of.
It's like when I think about all the stuff that I was doing, if I got to be like that about God, well, then that's just what I got to do, because I was ready to show okay, so I need to be crazy about God too. So don't ever think you're doing too much, because that's the job. That's our job. Yeah. Yeah. And bring the messages back, okay? Bring the poetry back to Instagram. Leila, stop playing with the people. Leila, stop playing with the people.
Y'all, the book is coming. Listen. The reason why I'm taking a step back from the social media poems is because I want to focus on a book that folks can actually have in their hands and not have to log into this social media to get to. Like, you should be able to have that, like, already on you. If that's not coming to your heart, to your mind, natural, if I can be a voice for you, have it. Have it in your house. So you can have it as a reminder. You know what I'm saying? I think if I didn't have poetry, bro.
Oh God. No, for real.
I don't think there is no such thing as bad poetry. A lot of people have introduced their writing to me as they're learning how to write and learning, how to journal and the importance of it. And they're like, I know it doesn't have to be like mine. If it's your heart, that matters. That matters more than anything. Your spirit, the Holy Spirit, is going to thank you for that, because at least you got it off your chest. You put it on paper. You're able to reflect on it if need be. You know what I'm saying? When it's just heavy on your spirit, it starts feeling like a burden. And some of these natural thoughts start feeling like a burden. They're just not. They shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So I love writing as a tool. I love that conversation of journaling as a tool. That get me going.
Yeah, I'm like, look, us talking about it now. Literally, I don't know what it is. I have not been in the space, in the physical space to write lately, but literally every time I'm at an open mic night or have a conversation about poetry like we're having right now, it's literally having me like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to write. Like, oh my gosh, I need to put the pen to the paper now. Like, I need to do it now. So these conversations are so needed for me, because now I want to get back to writing, like, real bad. Because I'm like, what? I'll send you my poetry and be like, how did it sound? What you think?
Bruh, and you be having it, you be saying it. I'll be like, this girl here, bruh. If you just brought, I hate to say it like that, but if you just brought your look, I'm going to say Godfidence, your God confidence in it, like, you know God is in your writing. I don't even know why you play like that. Her writing's so good, y'all. She be sleeping on herself.
I'll come back around
that
to
sleeping
it.
on yourself don't look good on you. Wake that pen up. Yeah.
Well, tell me about myself then. I know. I'm gonna get right. I'm gonna get right for real, because the more I don't feel like we're supposed to hide any of our talents. You feel me? Like, I feel like all of our talents, God gives us our gifts to be shared. And I've seen firsthand, not firsthand, but like, my people has told me stories. If you don't use your gift, God will take it away. And I don't want God to take my gift away. Like, we don't want God to take our gifts away. So we just got to use them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to start writing, I promise.
Yes.
But that means I'm going to need the book soon.
Say no more.
We're going to need the book
It is
soon.
coming, y'all. 2025, it's coming. So
this episode actually premieres. I want to say it premieres in December. So, you feel me? In a couple months, we're going to be getting the book, y'all.
So, look, give it 2 months, February.
Okay, y'all heard it here first. Y'all heard it here, okay? We're going to be expecting the book in February.
Y'all can slap me if I don't have it.
Y'all hear her? Okay. Because I'm going to definitely be texting you like, it's Black History Month. Where's the book at?
Hello? Say that.
Oh my gosh. Well, Leila, thank you so much for being here. This was so needed. Like, my whole spirit has been flipped from the time we pressed record, for real.
Yeah. I needed this as well, so I just thank you for taking the time and thinking of me. Like, just thank you. Girl, thank you for having the space, for creating the space. Thank you for listening to your call. Thank you for being a vessel. Thank you for just being you, for being here, for real.
Thank you.
It's a blessing. It's an honor to be here with you.
I'm like, the fact, yes, I answered the call, but so did you. You don't have to be here today. This is a complete option for you. So thank you. Like, the contribution, I hate to say the contribution you made to the classroom because it sounds so generic, but it's like the seeds that you were pouring in, yes, to the classmates, but also to me just now, were so needed. I feel so light. I feel so light. So I'm like, you and I, we need to get back in our own routine, back on our own relationship, because this is definitely a relationship that I want to grow for real.
Let's do it. I'm here. Let's do it. I want to, in that gratitude, in that gratefulness, I want to redirect that energy. All glory be to God for even having us on His time and connecting us in this space and in this, in our, literally just in our journeys. Because how could we just make it to this point just literally meeting that dealer, not even coming from the same place, not knowing each other from a can of paint. But he has brought us here to have this conversation, and that's all
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Even in the
Wow.
distance, you feel me?
Even in the
Yeah.
distance, all glory be to him, seriously.
Amen.
Because who knew we would need each other right now?
Amen. On this day specifically.
Right.
Amen.
Wow. He's in the details, just like you said.
He's in the
Wow.
details, and he
Don't get us
speaks.
started. Oh my gosh.
Oh, look, we could do this for 5 hours straight. Like, please get us off this call.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
he's
I
so,
love how you
yeah.
just brought that full circle.
He's
Oh.
everything.
Well, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. I know y'all have been able to walk away with some gems today, because when we get to talking, obviously we get to talking. Okay. Thank y'all so much. I love y'all so much. If you like this episode, send it to somebody you think just needs a little pep in their step, just needs a little moment of gratitude. I guarantee if they don't walk away from some gems, we'll at least make them laugh. I love
Say
y'all,
that.
and we'll see y'all next week.